Southeast Georgia and the Lowcountry. This is WJCL 22 Morning News. See us.
And as you might guess, I think we can do both.
We're now on WJCL 22 Morning News at 6. Controversial Georgia Congresswoman Marjorie Taylor Greene caught on camera heckling President Joe Biden on a national stage. Those shocking moments and how the president responded.
Supporting Ukraine and punishing Putin. I'm Aixa Diaz in Washington with President Biden's message at his State of the Union and the request from Ukraine's president.
This home suddenly explodes, sending shreds flying. All what officials now believe caused that explosion.
Police say this teen opened fire outside an apartment. The woman, investigators say, played a crucial role in getting him behind bars. It is right now 6 o'clock on this Wednesday morning, and we are live out in Bryan County this morning at JF Gregory Park in Richmond Hill. We want to thank you so much for starting your day with us here on WJCL 22. Good morning, everyone. I'm Emma Hamilton.
And I'm Frank Solkowski. The next young man you're going to see is meteorologist Jonathan Myers, and there he is. And Jonathan, I tell you what, this afternoon they have a saying. They call it a Chamber of Commerce Day because it's going to be nice and warm and sunny and all the good stuff.
I had no idea where you were going with that.
Oh, that's it.
Yeah.
He described it perfectly.
I know. I mean, you want to go to the green screen?
Visit Savannah will be out taking pictures today for pamphlets and whatnot.
It's going to be gorgeous.
And you can say it's like this year round, right?
Yes.
You know, but yeah, we know heat and humidity is around the corner, not too far off for sure. And as we're starting the morning off, we are seeing temperatures outside. It is chilly jacket weather for sure. Upper 30s, low to mid 40s for most of us this morning, 42 degrees for a lot of us right at sunrise, 56 at night. Look how we quickly warm up. 72 at lunchtime, 78 where most of us will top off for highs this afternoon. And look at this. Just full sunshine all the way through the afternoon. Very quiet weather. That's how we like it, right? Across our area. Coastal Georgia, low country, cloud-free skies this morning also as we go into the afternoon. Now, if you're wondering if this nice weather is going to continue, it will. We'll see temperatures into the 80s by tomorrow, so even a few degrees warmer on Thursday afternoon. And if you're making plans for the weekend, look at that. Sunshine will continue. I'll detail more of this beautiful forecast coming up in less than 10 minutes.
We are Bullitt County bound, taking a look at I-16 and 301 there, just outside Statesboro. As you can see, a lot of headlights starting to hit the roadways. We're just past 6 o'clock on this hump day.
And as you might guess, I think we can do both.
All right, now the moment from the State of the Union everybody's talking about, the moment controversial Georgia Congresswoman Marjorie Taylor Greene started chanting "Build the Wall" during the president's State of the Union address. She and Representative Lauren Boebert from Colorado were heard heckling the president during that speech.
It happened as the president talked about immigration reform. Here's a clip of the entire thing.
We need to secure our border and fix the immigration system. And as you might guess, I think we can do both.
Representative Greene's tweet right before the address talking about the January 6th insurrection. It said, with a fence and the National Guard at the Capitol to keep the American people out, you would think the Democrats believe walls and law enforcement work. Why don't they provide the same to secure our border? The president touched on a lot of different topics during the address last night, talking to all members of Congress and the American people. As
ABC's M. Wynn reports, he promises families his goal is to focus on lowering inflation and moving past the pandemic.
President Biden opening his first State of the Union address, denouncing Vladimir Putin for inciting the ongoing war in Ukraine, while lauding the resilience of the Ukrainian people.
Freedom will always triumph over tyranny.
Biden announcing a new ban of Russian aircraft from American airspace, receiving a rare display of unity and applause from across the aisle.
What's coming?
The president acknowledging the economic pains of the American people.
Too many families are struggling to keep up with their bills. I get it. That's why my top priority is getting prices under control.
Promising to prioritize controlling inflation and prices at the pump, announcing the release of 60 million barrels of oil from reserves worldwide, 30 million from the U.S. But costs continue to soar amid the coronavirus pandemic. The president announcing the launch of new free testing and treatment initiatives for all Americans, while acting as consoler-in-chief.
But I want you to know we're going to be okay.
The president declaring there's no reason for the pandemic to shut down schools any longer, but later slammed by critics like Iowa Governor Kim Reynolds, who called Biden's comment too little too late.
Keeping schools open is only the start of the pro-parent, pro-family revolution that Republicans are leading.
The president steering clear of his stalled Build Back Better Act and instead touting the passage of his massive infrastructure bill and how the economy added 6.5 million jobs during his first year in office.
The State of the Union is strong because you, the American people, are strong.
As part of the Unity Agenda, Biden announced a mental health initiative starting this summer. He's establishing a national hotline for people battling mental health. Em Nguyen, ABC News, Washington.
Well, new video just into the newsroom this morning showing the moments just after a Russian airstrike hitting a police department and other buildings in Ukraine this morning. You can see the roof of the buildings engulfed in flames and charred pieces falling to the ground. Well, we just learned in the past few hours that Russian troops have taken control of an entire city in Ukraine. According to Russian state media, troops have taken over the city of Kherson. The United Nations now says at least 136 people, including 13 children, have been killed in Ukraine since the invasion began. Well, a big impact being felt here at home, the ongoing gas price spike. Across Chatham County, the average price of a gallon of gas up 5 cents from yesterday at $3.65. In Liberty County, it's up 2 cents at $3.60. It's the same situation in the Low Country. In Jasper County, prices are up 6 cents, up to $3.64 a gallon. In Beaufort County, it's up 5 cents to $3.61.
We have brand new video this morning of a home in Missouri exploding, sending debris everywhere. Let's see it again there. The family says they smelled gas in the house right before that massive explosion. Officials say the home is a total loss and that several other homes in the neighborhood are damaged. Thankfully, no one was hurt. All new this morning, a teen is now behind bars after a woman's doorbell camera caught him firing shots at an apartment complex.
Yeah, police in Des Moines, Iowa say the video helped them track down the teen. Jennifer Townsend is the woman who came forward with this video. Townsend says she heard the shots coming from directly outside of her apartment.
I had to run with my baby, try to get away from the window area.
Now, thankfully, no one was hurt. Police have not released the suspect's name because he is a minor, but they say because of the seriousness of the crime, it's likely he'll be tried as an adult. Now, you may remember back in January, a Georgia man was arrested after he was caught on camera pulling out a gun, firing 3 shots. According to Marietta police, it was Tevin McDonald's third time shooting at this house. Police say McDonald is now facing several charges, including aggravated assault.
Right now, a bill that would do away with the need for a license to carry a gun in Georgia is heading to the State House. It would eliminate the current background check requirement. It passed the Senate along party lines Monday. Governor Brian Kemp backed the bill, saying people should have their constitutional rights protected and be able to protect themselves. Right now, more than 20 other states allow concealed weapons in public without a permit. A new abortion bill is also heading to the Georgia State House this morning. It would require women to get an in-person exam before being prescribed abortion pills. The measure is part of a nationwide push by anti-abortion groups to keep doctors from prescribing abortion pills by phone.
Well, today is Ash Wednesday, a holy day of prayer and fasting to begin the season of Lent. Today, many churches in our area will be holding Ash Wednesday services. St. John's the Baptist in downtown Savannah will hold all-day Mass starting this morning at 7:30.